We have a lot of demons in the NBA when it comes to the Denver Nuggets being relevant. We see this all the time with people in the media who haven't even recognized who the Nuggets are, and they're watching us for the first time. Not to mention, we're just an MVP hub over the last 2 years, bringing in 2 MVPs by Nikola Jokic, who is the catalyst of what the Nuggets have put together, and he is just a force. He's the best player in the world to this point. The Nuggets, after 47 years, are in the NBA Finals and have a chance to win their first NBA championship. They're minus 460 in Vegas to win this series, and rightfully so. We're going to talk about why the Nuggets will win the NBA Finals, and we'll give our predictions after this on what we think is really going to happen from an actual game perspective. But let's start out. We talked about the 2-time MVP, Jokic, Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging 29 points, 13.3 rebounds, 10.3 assists over Denver's playoff run. Collected a playoff record 8 triple-doubles in 15 games. 47% from 3-point. I don't know. That sounds pretty good if you ask me. I mean, basically, you're saying this guy hasn't slowed down. When the playoffs slow down, when the game slows down, he just ramps things up, and he does what he's been doing all season long. Now, how do you defend that? Bam Adebayo will probably take the Joker assignment based on the Heat's regular season approach defending the 2-time MVP. From what we've seen so far, it's probably not going to go so well. Miami has a reputation of switching team, and is true to form. Adebayo defended the second most picks with switches in this regular season, behind Brooklyn's Nick Claxton, but not against Jokic. The Heat switched on 8% of screens that Jokic set against them this season, according to Second Spectrum. Their lowest percentage against any of the top 50 screeners against them. Miami's average switch rate against that group was 28%. So, as far as that goes, they're trying to figure out how they can work Jokic, whether or not they're going to be able to defend him and stop him from kicking out, or if they're going to double team, how do they switch off him? Teams have been trying to figure this out all season long. Heat also don't want to engage Jokic passing by helping Adebayo and thus leaving other Nuggets open on the perimeter. The Nuggets are very good when it comes to perimeter shooting. They're one of the best, if not the best, over the course of the NBA all season long, and that didn't change in the NBA playoffs. They've been very good, top 3 in 3-point percentage. Now, let's talk about the per 100 possessions efficiency. Efficiency has been off the roof for the Denver Nuggets. The regular season, 116.8 offensive rating. Pretty good. The first round of the playoffs, 117.2. So they've actually got a little bit better. A point better. A little less than a point better. Second round, 120 offensive rating. 3 points better. And the conference finals, 2 points better than the second round. 122.3 offensive rating. Think about that. A team that has gotten to the playoffs with one of the best offenses in the NBA. When things slow down, like I mentioned earlier, and you figure, oh, that changes. Defensive, the whistles, the pace of the game changes. You got to account for that. The Nuggets have gotten better offensively each and every single round, which it should be the opposite, you would think. You get the better teams over the course of that span. Can Miami slow down Denver's offense? Miami will have a really big problem when it comes to size. Now, how do they combat that, right? They have Adebayo, but do you call upon Love? Do you get Zeller in there? Now, I don't know. You have to figure that out, because right now, Bam Adebayo is much smaller than Jokic when it comes to defending. So how do you help Bam Adebayo out? Because he's going to need it. Do you start Love? He's a guy that's older in his career. I don't know how you go about that process, but I think that's something you should think about. I think Spoelstra is going to try to figure out ways. We saw the Lakers try to change things up. We'll talk about that here in a second. To account for Anthony Davis, who was the best defender in the NBA when it came to the paint. And We saw how that turned out. Post-up situations and switches. Denver ran 30 post-ups in their 2 matchups with Miami this year. And in those 30 post-up scenarios, the Denver Nuggets scored 47 points. 30 post-ups, scored 47 points. Jokic getting deep seal, passing out, open cutters, shooters. That's what's kind of involved in that. So it's when you're talking about those, they're not all points in the paint. Those 47 points on those post-ups, those are kickouts. Those are driving and getting backing down for layups. Those are a lot of different ways that the Nuggets score. That's their bread and butter and how they've done it all season long. That's over 1.5 points per possession, which is crazy. And Kyle Lowry at some points would switch on to Aaron Gordon when we're talking about some of these post-up situations and switches. That absolutely will. That happened earlier on in the season where Lowry got rolled over by Aaron Gordon. He can't handle that when they switch off those different pick and rolls. Denver's much better at making you pay for switching small players on to bigger front court players than Boston was when you saw that in the last series. Post-up battle will be the main way where the Nuggets will have success attacking Miami over the course of this series. The Nuggets are too big, too good at spacing the floor, and too good at making you pay when switches or double teams occur. Rebounding. Let's talk about rebounding, why the Nuggets will dominate in this category. Miami struggled rebounding against Boston. Post-deadline, let's talk about where the Nuggets came from. Post-deadline, the Los Angeles Lakers ranked 4th in the NBA and got destroyed by Denver on the glass. At one point in the series, Denver grabbed 21 of the first 23 rebounds in the game. It's going to be hard for Miami to match up across the board size-wise. All right, let's get into defense for the Miami Heat. Denver's just too hard to guard. Presumably, the Heat will mix Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin on Murray, just as they did against the Knicks' Jalen Brunson in the second round. Murray is the most dynamic point guard that the Heat have faced in the playoffs. Unlike Brunson, he's not even the best offensive player on this team. I wouldn't be surprised if the Heat stick Butler or on Murray for key stretches, maybe try to navigate the Jokic-Murray pick-and-roll dance and try to figure something out there. But don't be surprised if the Heat struggle to stop them in this area. Then you got the zone defense. Huge factor in the Boston series. So everyone's like, oh, the zone defense is going to be a factor in how Eric Spoelstra is going to kind of mix in some different coverages. Eric Spoelstra's team used zone defense more frequently than any other team in tracking it in the era of how they're running these zone defense. They do it a lot. And he's pulled it out of his toolbox in each playoff round this far. It was crucial wrinkle in the upset over wins over the Bucks and the Celtics, who each scored at a much lesser clip against the zone than against Miami's half-court man-to-man defense. Zone didn't work against Denver in the regular season. It wasn't a thing. Miami sprinkled in 13 zone possessions against Denver, a small sample size, and Denver scored 20 points against it on 13 possessions. Pretty good. Jokic also complicates the typical sprinkle in of those schemes. Anyone who's played rec basketball knows that the easiest way to beat a zone is to place a big skilled man at the free throw line and surround him with shooters. That's the way the Nuggets have been running their offense all through the season. They must have the best offense suited for that aspect of this game. It's also no surprise that the Nuggets have scored a robust 1.21 points per possession against zone defenses this season, the second best mark in the league according to Second Spectrum. Against Miami's zone specifically, they scored 15 points on 9 possessions when Jokic was in the game. The simple entry pass, kick out, sequence, all that, it's just what the Nuggets do. The Heat offense. The Nuggets have the postseason's best offense because they generate their best shots. Now, the Heat are tied for third in offensive efficiency this postseason. So they're not bad. But their shot making has been kind of a little bit tougher, right? When you're talking about the successes of what you need, shot making, overall shot quality based off factors and locations, shooter skill, all those things matter. Miami's shot quality ranks 15th among 16 playoff teams, but is overperformed a little bit more with the role players that they've seen in the last couple rounds, which is, a benefit to Miami. But despite ranking just 27th in the regular season and 34% accuracy on three-pointers, the Heat, mostly without Tyler Hero, who broke his hand in the team's playoff opener, have been hot in the playoffs. They've been they've been pretty good. But they struggled from distance in the second round against the Knicks, made 45% of three-pointers in the upset for the Bucks and 43% in the upset of the Celtics. So, that's going to be a key. They need to get that contribution from their role players, but they've benefited a lot from the contributions of Martin, Vincent, Duncan Robinson. Adebayo couldn't buy a bucket for stretches of the conference finals, but they survived because the fact that their role players were able to keep them afloat. Now, I'm curious to see what they end up doing with Tyler Hero, because they've been rolling without Tyler Hero and mixing in a guy who's been off for so long. That's going to be an interesting wrinkle. Do you bring him back? If you have success in the first two games, you don't bring him back. If you don't have success, you bring him back, but what's he going to be? How's that going to affect the players that have gotten them to this point? And Duncan and Vincent and Martin, who have been very, very good, what does that do to their confidence? But even with the hot streak, even with their collection of undrafted contributors, Butler is the engine that makes this Miami's offense go. And Denver might have the best defender to force it all. When it comes to this, Aaron Gordon is going to be a guy that's going to probably have a lot of time on Jimmy Butler. Over the past 3 seasons, Butler has scored only 11.4 points per 100 plays when defended by Aaron Gordon, according to Second Spectrum. He's at 17.9 points or better against every other defender he's faced in a minimum of 100 matchups. Butler also has an effective field goal percentage of just 26% when Gordon guards him versus 35% or better against everyone else. So that's going to be a key matchup when it comes to this. So that'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Gordon already has guarded Kevin Durant, LeBron James in consecutive playoff rounds compared to, what he's going to be seeing with Jimmy Butler here. Aside of slotting Gordon on Butler, Denver can use Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown, who are excellent defenders, to put out fires when it comes to defending this Heat lineup of Martin, Robinson, Strus, Hero, if he comes back. So that'll be a big thing there. But given just the talent discrepancy between these two teams, don't get me wrong, Miami is a very talented team. They've gotten here with some grit. They've gotten here with some great role playing. But I just think the Denver Nuggets just have more to give when it comes to overall balance of how they play offense and defense. And that's going to be a big factor in this series. So when it comes down to it, the Heat, how do they defend this? How do they go about trying to get back in the series? Coach Eric Spoelstra is going to be one of the best X factors for this Miami Heat team in how he tries to get through this. But we've seen the Lakers, the Suns, the Minnesota Timberwolves, and even over the course of the season, all the teams that the Nuggets have played don't have an answer and have mentioned how hard it is to guard a team that can do literally everything. If you slow the game down, the Nuggets have an advantage because they work in that half-court offense. You speed the game up, the Nuggets have a very good team that can adapt to that circumstance in the playoffs. So we've seen them win a game 98-88. We've seen them win games 123-134. Like, it's crazy the difference of variations of how this team has won games across the board. So how Eric Spoelstra decides to mix up coverages, zone, whatever it may be, I think it's going to be too much for him to put together on the fly in this series. And that is why this is so important for the Nuggets to execute like they have been all through the course of the series. This is why it's so important for the Nuggets to have a great start in these first 2 games. And we haven't seen this in 47 years. And that's why this series is so big, and that's why it matters. Let's go.
Sorry, muted myself while you were on there, just so I didn't make noise, but let's go. Give it up for Chris and a Why It Matters, breaking down anything and everything that's about to be going on in this NBA Finals. So many stats, so many numbers, so much research to find out everything that's going down and why our Nuggets, Chris, should in fact, well, and they are the favorites, heavy favorites in Vegas, but should take this series. I'm excited, Chris. Like, I don't know if it's weird to feel too confident, but like, my favorite part of this whole playoff thing is like The Nuggets now, the new Nugget narrative. The Nuggets narrative now is, well, this is going to be the most unimpressive playoff run we've ever seen.
Yeah, I've seen this.
They beat the 8 seed Wolves in the first round. Then they beat the 4 seed Suns. Then they beat the 7 seed Lakers, and they're now facing the 8 seed Heat in the finals. And everyone's like, this championship shouldn't even count. Chris, I remember the day where ESPN had 17 experts picking the Suns Nuggets series, and 13 of them picked the Suns. So which is it? Is this the easiest path we've ever seen? Or did they just beat teams you didn't expect them to beat, like the Suns? 13 of 17 experts on ESPN picked the Suns to beat the Nuggets in the second round.
It's wild.
I think six of 16, so it was 10 Nuggets versus 6 for the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and we swept them. Like, you can't decide who you play, right?
Nope.
But we've also been hated on throughout, regardless of who we play. Like, people have picked the other team. They just have. I know some experts that picked Minnesota to beat us in round 1. Quite frankly,
it's wild. To me.
But now here we are. We're 12-3, and everyone's like, "You just haven't played anybody." What about the fact that Durant was 11-1 as a Sun before he faced the Nuggets, and then they lose in 6? What about the fact that the Lakers, after the trading deadline, were like borderline the best team in basketball and got swept? What about the fact that Anthony Edwards was a monster in that first round? And the Nuggets are 12-3 in these playoffs. 12-3. That's pretty damn good, Chris.
Pretty damn good.
The biggest thing about this series that stands out to me, Chris, is the Nuggets have the size on the Heat. Like, the Heat, their tallest starter is Bam at 6'9", right?
Yeah.
Obviously, Jokic is 6'11", but a lot heavier as well. But that's not my question mark. The guy who should feast
MPJ
on the offensive side is MPJ. MPJ's 6'10". He's taller than anyone else on this team that's playing any minutes at all for the Heat. No one's gonna affect his shot. He might get covered by, like, I don't know what, like, I'm trying to figure out who. Duncan Robinson at 6'7", who had blocked his first shot of the season, by the way, against Jaylen Brown in the last game. Literally his first block shot of the season. No one can match up with MPJ on the defensive side of the floor on Miami's roster. You just don't have an answer. He's too tall, too long, 6'10", shooter. They don't have anybody that can match up with that dude.
I mean,
and I'm not saying he's the best player, but, like, that's a problem. That's a problem for them. Caleb Martin on MPJ. How tall is Caleb Martin? He can't be. He's got to be like 6'5". He's got to be 5 inches shorter, and that's not even adjusting for, like, length as well.
No, I mean, you could throw Strus out there. Strus is
Caleb Martin is 6'5". Strus is
6'5".
6'5". Like, I mean, these guys cannot cover.
You mean so then you have
Michael
a problem.
Porter Jr.
Then if Michael Porter Jr. gets hot, then you throw, like, Jimmy Butler, who's kind of an aggressive defender, but then who's guarding Jamal Murray?
By the way, I don't think Jimmy Butler is going to be. Most of his minutes will not be on Murray. It'll be maybe important minutes, but not most minutes. He can't expend that amount of injury to guard Murray when he has to score the amount of points and be the leader offensively that he has to be for this team. I'm sure Heat fans have heard this left and right in every series. Like, you're outmatched talent-wise. This Nuggets team, if any other team, if the Lakers played like the Nuggets have and went 12-3, No one would be picking. If you just change the jersey for these Nuggets players and have them in Lakers jersey, no one would be picking.
Nobody. I mean, currently ESPN has, I think, 12-4 on Nuggets, which is the first time that most people have picked the Nuggets. But I mean, even in our chat, Seven Sly coming in, Heat and 6. I know, Nicholas, you given us some love recently, but he's like Heat and 5, maybe a clean sweep. I think you're just joking because there's no reason you can be.
Let's be nice. Yeah. Let's be nice.
But I'm gonna go. By the way, bye, Ducky. Have a good night. And have a great podcast tomorrow. But let's see. I mean,
there's two sides to every story. Rex says, "What advantages do the Heat have, and how can they win this?"
The Heat,
phenomenal coach. They're great shooters. I mean, when you look at three-point percentage of the team in these playoffs, I think they're separated by less than 0.5%. Both these teams. I think the Heat are like 39, and the Nuggets are 38.6. So it's neck and neck there. The coaching strategy, but I think Malone's a really good coach with strategy as well. So I don't know how big of an advantage that is for the Heat. I mean, tell me, listen, the Nuggets just went through LeBron and AD, and before that it was Booker and Durant, and now it sounds bad to say this, but now we have got to go through Butler and Bam.
I mean, before that, I mean, even one of the more prolific playoff players that we saw in this, it was Minnesota with
Anthony Edwards. Phenomenal.
He was phenomenal.
Honestly, if you, as a Nuggets fan, if you had to tell me who the toughest player the Nuggets have faced,
it was Anthony Edwards.
It'd be between that and Booker. Booker was phenomenal for certainly a couple games, and then maybe not as much some other games. Anthony Edwards was so good for Minnesota in that first round, so damn good. Jimmy Butler wants it more. So I don't dispute how bad Jimmy Butler wants it. Jimmy Butler wants it so much, but guess what? I promise you this Nuggets team does too.
Well, also, talk about a team that doesn't really matter about narratives or how, you can't really get in the heads of a guy like Jokic. Like a guy here's the thing. You can have all the head games and mind games you want. If there's one dude that runs a team and two-time MVP that doesn't let shit get to him, MVP talks that he didn't get his third MVP, all the drama outside. The dude loves his horses and he's like off the grid in the offs. He doesn't care about all these narratives and all these who wants it more. He just plays basketball for his team and gets them to the point where they need to win games. Now, the way that Miami can probably try, if I were Miami, I would try to take Bam and stretch Jokic out as much as possible to the 3-point line and open up the lane and kind of open up kind of the cutting and shooting behind Jokic as they pull Jokic out to the 3-point line. That would be the only thing that I think that the Heat could potentially do. But even Jokic in drop coverage has been good over the course of the Lakers series and the Phoenix series. So you can't even really play him out there because he's been dropping and he's been really athletic in how he's gotten to those points, boxing out, getting rebounds. We're a good rebounding team, like I mentioned. It's just hard for them to find ways to defend. What else is there was a couple other things in the chat here that I wanted to touch on.
It's crazy. A lot of people are and maybe they're just letting us know how the Heat can win, and maybe we're not pointing that out enough. Chris, I'm nervous. I was nervous for the Lakers series. I was nervous for the Suns series. When the Nuggets closed out the Wolves in a close game in Game 5, I took a giant deep breath because I was like, "Thank goodness." And I know the Heat have been playing good ball, but I don't see an avenue where if the Nuggets are healthy and playing like they've been playing, that the Heat can hang. I just don't. Milwaukee's like Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent And if I would have asked even decent, not even casual NBA fans, pretty well, like that are pretty familiar with the league, NBA fans prior to this playoff run, who Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent are, they'd be like, nobody's.
What's up, JJ?
What's up, JJ? It's
Welcome
just JJ.
in. It's just JJ. Welcome in. Who's your team and where you're from? Like to get to know you. Thank you for being a part of the stream. Ty, Miami will play zone. I don't know if you Ty.
That's a great thing for the Nuggets.
That's a great thing. The Nuggets handle the zone again.
Feast.
Going back to what I was mentioning in my thing, 13 zone possessions this season against Denver, small sample size. Denver scored 20 points on those. I mean, again, if you're talking about how to defend a zone or how to attack a zone and be successful, it's getting a big man into that free throw line area and being able to kick the ball out or make plays. There's not a better player in the NBA that is more equipped to do that than Nikola Jokic, by far. So zone is actually probably the worst thing that the Miami Heat can do in this series if they want to defend the Denver Nuggets. So I can't say that the zone is going to be an advantage. What's up, G Girl? How we doing? Shout out to G Girl.
What's up, G Girl?
How we doing? Welcome in. Sorry about your boys, but we're talking breaking down this Nuggets series. So if you have anything that you want to throw out there, throw it out there. Suns fan, says JJ. Welcome in, JJ. Good to have you
guys
in.
If you don't follow G Girl, give her a follow. She's epic. Does has a great Twitch stream. Gives it all out there. So follow her. She's amazing. Chris, it's also interesting that we're getting a lot of like heat stuff here, and I'm just like, maybe I'm just a giant homer.
So
if I'm ranking, I don't know. I watched Bam be really bad, and like even every time I watch Bam, he was bad. I don't get the Bam hype. And so they're relying on like Caleb Martin to be dominant like he was. I don't know, man. Like, and by the way, what we're not talking about is like game one, Chris, I made a substantial bet on game one because, all right, you just got out of a 7-game series. You get 2 days off. You don't have a ton of time to prep. You're kind of piecing it all together. You don't have time to practice that prep like the Nuggets have. The Nuggets have been game planning for both these teams, Heat and Celtics, for a week and a half now. And they're rested. They stayed at home. They're ready to go. They're going to have the home crowd. Game one, if the Nuggets don't win game one, I will be absolutely shocked if the Nuggets don't win game one.
Well, and there's two things that I didn't mention in my why it matters and things that do matter in this series. And that's one, home court advantage, like you just mentioned, coming off a 7-game series, only having a day and a half, 2 days max to be able to get used to the altitude. That's not a joke. Like, that's a thing. That's the reason why the Denver Nuggets are 6 points better at home than most other home teams are in their own homes. That's just on average. They're just better based off of the fact that the altitude affects the game. Number two, the Nuggets are a very good scouting team. The Nuggets, if you look at some of the press conferences, and I've watched every single one of them over the course of these last 3 series, you heard Karl Anthony Towns saying they knew exactly what we were going to do before we ran the play. That's scouting. That's Jokic on the court. He's a Peyton Manning. He's a coach out there on the field, on the court, just like what we're seeing. He knows how to diagnose things. He does the study work where he can put together how to defend teams based off of how they're going to run specific out of bounds plays or whatever it may be. The Nuggets are a very good scouting team. They've had so much time to watch both Boston and Miami. Just another advantage for them. Now, I just think that those are a couple factors I didn't mention that are going to be big time in this series. And let's get to our predictions.
Seven Sly real quick in the chat is like all the pressure, or someone said all the pressure's on the Nuggets if they lose game one. Maybe not. But like if they win game one, why are you all picking? You're picking the Heat after that, by the way, and then Seven Slides like Heat just need one in Denver, by the way. Heat are not losing at home. One of these two teams is undefeated at home in the playoffs. The Nuggets are 8-0 at home in the playoffs. They have not lost throughout these playoffs. I'm pretty sure the Heat lost a couple of times at home to the Celtics.
Yeah,
I'm actually positive about that. So to say they're undefeated at home or unbeatable at home, where the Nuggets are very beatable when the Nuggets haven't lost at home, it's just weird. It's weird. It's a weird flex.
Heat defense force. Dig that. What's up, Dig that? By the way, sorry if I didn't say hi to you earlier. Dig that. Heat defense just forced turnovers. They not really good at Boston. They not really that good. Boston scored or fouled every time they wanted to in the paint. The Nuggets don't win game one. They're pressure. I don't feel the pressure on Denver if they lose game one. I feel like they're a team that not a lot shakes this Denver team because of how their superstar carries himself. He's very calm. He's very collected. How he gets his team ready. It's just that's why I said earlier the mind games of Jimmy Butler and how he can kind of influence a series based off of what he says and how he is on the court. It's not going to affect this team like it would like another team that they ran into earlier on in the series. I mean, you were having Al Horford and mind games with Al Horford and getting fired up and this and that. That's not going to happen with Jokic. Jokic just brushes it off and just does what he has to do, and that's win games. Boston beat Miami on the road twice, right? Says G Girl. Denver is so good at home. True. There's a true home court advantage. Also, Denver, you want to talk about role players? Role players are going to be better in this series, in my opinion, than I just have more confidence in KCP, Bruce Brown. I have confidence in Aaron Gordon and a lot of these guys that have just complementary, just they all complement each other. You have the Jokic Murray complementary piece, right? I just think that it's just so hard. The Jokic Murray two-man game is the most unguardable thing. I've said this before on the stream. There was a point where they ran the same play and had 5 different outcomes from the one play. Scotty, how do you defend that? You had Jokic rolling to the hoop, one play. You had Murray taking the screen and dribble handoff. You had Murray dribble handoff, kick out to the corner. You had Jokic turn and floater. There's no way you can anticipate how the Nuggets are going to run a single play because they have so many options and they defend the three very well. It's just, I'm trying to find, as a Nuggets fan, I'm trying to figure out ways where Miami can find an advantage, and I'm struggling, Scotty.
They're the less talented team. They probably have the better coach, but I don't think Malone's a slouch by any stretch of the imagination. But Nuggets are more rested, more talented. If you had to rank the top 4 players in this series, regardless of team, I'm obviously Jokic is one. And then there's a big gap, quite frankly.
Then I would say
Butler's probably 2. And then I think Murray and Porter are 3 and 4. Murray's definitely 3.
Murray's 100% 3.
All right, a lot of people might pick Bam, but I don't. I'm not a Bam believer.
I might put.
And in fact, in this matchup, Bam is not a good matchup for. By the way, we haven't even talked about the fact that the last 3 years, the Nuggets are 6-0 against the Heat. Going back 5 years, they're 9-1. They own the Heat. They own the Heat in the regular season. I know that's not, doesn't mean what's going to happen here, but they dominated the Heat. A lot of years, the Nuggets go on East Coast road trips, especially Far East, like Miami or something, and they don't play well. But they own the Heat. They own the Heat.
Yeah. By the way, something that's really kind of weird. So I saw a thing, and you might have seen this too on social media. It's a destiny thing. The Colorado sports world have won a lot of championships against teams from Miami, right? Scotty, have you seen this? You had the Avalanche who beat the Panthers for a championship. The CU Buffs won their championship in Miami. You had
it was a shared.
So and then you had there was a couple more that were Miami. I have to double check, but there's like a history of Colorado teams. Let me look it up, but it's I have it here. Give me a sec.
When everyone talks about this Heat experience, it's failed experience, but two, a lot of their big contributors in this series,
all right, I have it here,
don't have experience.
So,
yeah, go ahead.
Colorado Avalanche won their first Stanley Cup in Miami. The Denver Broncos won their second Super Bowl in Miami. The Buffs won their national championship in Miami split. The Denver Nuggets are playing their first NBA title against Miami. Like, is it meant to be? It just seems like everything from Colorado has to go through Miami for those championship runs. This is no different. So
it seems like they always go through and succeed in those, Chris. Just saying.
Denver has depth, says GG. Question, gents. Devil says Devil Doc. What's more important in the finals like this? One team swept and is rested. Miami wins game 7 and isn't fresh but played well and emotional high. So, Devil Doc, I think in this case, and I'll let Scotty answer this here in a second, I think layoffs are worse on teams that rely on jump shooting more so than anything else as their main source of offense. When it comes to a team that's like the Golden State Warriors or a team like those, like I feel like those teams with a long layoff, if they've been hot up until a certain point, they might not have that same rhythm with a long layover. The problem with the issue that if you're trying to put Denver in that category is the fact that they score in so many different ways. They score from the inside out. They score from the outside in. They score all over the place. They pick and rolls. Their shot quality and their the way they create quality shots across 3-point all the way down to the paint. It's not going to affect them as much as a team that relies heavily on jump shooting. Number one. Number two, I think a team like this with a lot of very good scouting and how they approach the game, how they can see what other teams do, that benefits. That's what the Nuggets have prided themselves on all season long. So I think coaching from that standpoint is big. And then rest is fine. I don't think the layoff is going to hurt the Nuggets in this situation. Now, I think going to game 7 for the Heat is going to hurt them a little bit in the sense that they have to go to altitude 2 days after they just finished a 7-game series. That's going to be a big aspect of like just the fact that you got to acclimate and you can't do it on the fly that fast after a physical series like you just came out of with Boston. So, Scotty, what are your thoughts?
I mean, listen, what do you think's easier? Like the team that travels, they're at home, they have to then lose game 6, they travel to Boston, they emotionally have to put everything into that game, physically and emotionally, to win that game. They get on a flight, get here late, they have 2 days to prepare when the Nuggets had 10 days to prepare. And it's not like the Nuggets haven't been doing anything. Like, I get the rust factor, but like in practice, I guarantee you everyone's going all out in practice for the Nuggets because they understand. It's not like they weren't ready for this. The NBA schedule was set. The NBA Finals, they knew once they swept, they weren't playing till June 1st, and they had an outline to play. It's not like they were waiting on when the Heat were up 3-0. They were like, oh, we might play in a couple days, so let's just take it easy. No, they knew the schedule regardless. They prepared for it. I guarantee in practice, the second team, the third team, whoever it may be, was balling out to help the players be prepared for this moment. You have a team coming into altitude versus a team that's rested. and the Nuggets have pretty much dominated game ones. They've won all game ones, as have the Heat. So both teams are undefeated in game ones. But to be fair, the Lakers were undefeated in game ones, coming into the Western Conference Finals. And while they came back at the end, they were curb stomped for a long stretch. So I fully expect, with the home crowd, first NBA Finals game, everything on the line, I think I would be shocked if the Nuggets don't win by double digits in game one.
And prediction for the
we'll
series?
See how. I'm probably going 5.
That was
a part of me wants to go 4, Chris.
So
Part
you and I are seeing this the same way.
I don't get the Heat against this matchup. This team is so different than any team the Heat have played in these playoffs. So different.
Well, the floor is higher than any team. You don't have the inconsistencies of Boston.
I just watched the Celtics play one-on-one game and pass. Someone beats them off, and then they maybe pass it out and they throw it around, and then you have Marcus Smart shooting a 3. Oh no, terrifying. It's just not the same. This Denver team gets easier shots, easier looks because of Joker. He makes everything different. He makes shots so much easier. He makes offense so much easier. They haven't faced a dude like him.
By the way, Swift 87, welcome in, brother. How we doing? Good to have you. First time in. Let's all give him a welcome.
Fingers, say the face.
He said, "I want the Heat to win, but I do like Denver in 5."
I gotta steal your R line again. What? Steal what? Swift.
Oh, who's your team and where you from?
Oh yeah, who's your team and where you're from? Like to get to know you a little bit, by the way, Swift. I want Heat to win, but I do like Denver in 5. Swift.
Let's go. Thank you, Swift.
Thank you for following, Swift. Hey, join our Discord. We love to chat and get to know you a little bit more. We talk when we're offline, but my name is Chris. This is Scott. We are your host for the Action Lab. For all you guys who are new, kind of lurking around, hanging out, we are live every Wednesday and Sunday, and then occasionally sprinkled in on Thursdays. But we're big. We're both in Denver here. We're locals. So we're huge into this NBA Finals and really excited about what the Nuggets can do. Nuggets in 5. My prediction, the fact that I'm I might not make it to a Finals game if I don't get game 1, because I have game 5 and 7, just in case. Because I want to be there. I've been a Nuggets fan since I was literally going to games at McNichols Arena back in the day, and this is my heart and soul of my fandom. Of all the teams that I love, this is the team that I need and I want to win more than any other team. So I'm I have to be there. The predicament I'm in is if I don't see them in game 1 or 2, I might not see them because there's a chance this could be a sweep, or 5 is kind of my limit where I feel if I don't think it's going to 7. I don't think it's going to 7, max 6 games. I think this ends in 5. But the odds plus 450 for a sweep for the Nuggets, which is not bad for the Vegas betting. If you want to get some value, if you want to get 4-1, 4.5 to 1 on your money, go bet the Nuggets in a sweep. Swift 87. Jokic too much for them. Jokic is the best player in the world, and people are starting to recognize it.
Devil Doc asked, if Miami is hitting their threes around 40 to 50%, does that change anything? Depends on what Denver's doing.
The Lakers shot out of their mind for that series in the first couple games, and they still were close.
If you look at regular season, the Nuggets were 38% from 3, and the Miami Heat were 34.6. So the Nuggets are a better 3-point shooting team in general in the regular season, and in the postseason, the Heat are 0.4% better than them, but still below 40%. So yeah, if they shoot 50% from 3, that could change things, but I just don't expect that to happen. The better shooting team is the Nuggets, ironically. The Nuggets do almost everything better. You could argue defensively the Heat are a little more tied up, but I don't know. That helps. if Tyler Hero comes back in the series, everyone's like, oh, that could be a difference maker.
No.
He's a minus on the defensive side.
Well,
he's a minus.
He's a minus, but what does that do to all the players that got them there that have been in a rhythm that, like, how do you take out Duncan Robinson, who's had such a impact on the last couple series, everything else?
Like,
but
if I'm drafting shooters in this finals, I'm taking Murray and Porter Jr. 1-2. They're the two best 3-point shooters in this final.
And the only reason, Scotty, that I say I'm not worried about 3-point shooting for the Miami Heat is the fact that the Nuggets have only allowed a league top 3, 34.4% from 3-point range over the course of the regular season. Third best in the NBA defending the 3-point line. That's due to Bruce Brown, KCP, and Aaron Gordon, who have really been good at defending the perimeter, which we've struggled with as a Denver franchise over the course of the last 3-4 years. We just never been able to stop anybody from shooting threes, and that's changed.
Mackie says, I'd take Gordon and Brown too. What's up, by the way, Mackie? How you doing, man? And then he's like, oh, and KCP. KCP was so money in the Western Conference Final. He was nailing 3 after 3. You remember he was like the best shooter from 3-point range prior to the All-Star break. He struggled a little bit down the stretch, but he's found his stroke again. Bruce Brown's good from 3. Like the Nuggets, I agree. The Nuggets, especially in the Western Conference Finals, were not deep. The Nuggets were about 6 deep, Chris. Borderline 7.
Christian Brown,
who we all love.
Yeah.
It was apparently too big of a moment, and he didn't even play in Game 4. And then you have Jeff Green as like the 7th man, but like he doesn't play a ton or isn't great. Now, don't get me wrong, Bruce Brown's electric off the bench and was phenomenal.
And he's got that dog in him too. Like he's got that
for
dog.
Sure. But the Nuggets are right now, you could argue 6 deep. You could argue they're kind of borderline 6 deep. If you get past those 6, like there's not a lot. I mean, Christian Brown, I loved during the regular season and might move forward doing well, but like the moment was too big for him in the Western Conference Finals. Now he played decent in the playoffs prior to that, so maybe he can mentally like jump that hurdle. We don't know. Jeff Green's gonna be Jeff Green, right?
Let's
eat some da bomb.
Let's handle some more heat because that's what the Nuggets are about to do in this series. I got the bomb here. We're gonna crush this, and
if it didn't hurt you the first time, put it on the entire chip.
Oh, okay, all right. Well, maybe I'll just do a double dab. I'll just do one, and I'll do one simultaneously, and we'll just have some fun with it. But this is how the Nuggets are gonna handle the Miami Heat, just like I handle this Heat.
Gobble them up. Ain't no.
You don't know it's actually ketchup that he's disguising as hot sauce.
Okay. No shot. No.
That's
shot.
our own mod.
Now you're banned.
Well, now you're banned.
What are we doing here? Mackie, yeah, garbage. Bruce Brown is garbage. Bruce Brown, I didn't know he had this dog in him until the playoffs. He's been a dog in the playoffs. Love it. Nick is welcome to the finals, Heat, but you're going to be extinguished by Denver freaking Nuggets. You can try, but you can't win this Nuggets. You have a Jimmy, we have a Joker. You have a Hero, and a Robinson. We have the Bo, Man, Murray,
Let's
MPJ,
go!
and KCP. That doesn't even mention Aaron motherfucking Gordon. Mackie, solid 6 deep. Wait, does that sound bad? No, we talked about drinking your SO's breast milk earlier, so we're good. We're good. That sounds fine. Nothing wrong with a solid 6 deep. By the way, that's respectable, people.
Roger.
Yeah. Respectable. Just
what's not respectable is Rack. We do need to ban Rack.
No.
Well, now you're banned.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Rack ban for sure.
Did you mute him? That'd be great.
No.
Damn it.
Here, hold on. Let me see. Oh wait.
Mod, if you mute me, I can unmute myself.
What's weird is he like talks about like, oh, I have a face for radio or whatever, but then his voice isn't my favorite either.
I mean, he's got that high pitched laugh, you know.
I can hear him, Chris. It's bad. It's bad on my end.
He's muted.
No, Chris, you muted him just for you. I can hear him. Everyone else can hear him. You are the only one who can't hear him. Nick, Christian Brown went to my Kansas Jayhawks. You have a good player. I endorse him. Oh, Nick, I'm a Jayhawk fan as well, so I'm fully aware. I was hyped when they took Christian Brown, and he's actually exceeded my expectations with the Nuggets this year. So I'm hyped for him. I try to tell people like he's a dog, athletic, way more athletic than you think. Rock Chalk Jayhawk all day, every day. By the way, they'll start out preseason number 1 in college basketball. That's a different topic. Just dominating everything, what my teams do. But let's start with the Nuggets and getting the first title in the history of the game. Chris, now you muted yourself. I don't know if you know what you're doing over there.
Yeah, it's a hot sauce. It's fine. It's spicy, but I'm still.
The sauce is making it brain a potato again.
Yeah, probably. But Scott, Rec, the last thing we got to do is put a poll in the chat on who wins the series. Nuggets, just straight up, Nuggets or Heat. I'm curious to see what the lab rat.
I think we lost some of the Heat people. Maybe not. Maybe they're just.
There's a lot of Heat people that are just hanging around.
Hey, if you honestly, like, if you think the Heat, I'm struggling to find an avenue where the Heat, unless the Nuggets don't play close to their potential, I just don't see it.
Hey, look at that! It's tied. Why not?
There's no ties allowed at all. And man, this is the fastest we've ever had so many votes this quick. This is great. Let's go, guys.
Yeah.
Vote.
Nick, I was born in Kansas, so rock chalk. I too was born in Kansas, so congratulations to us on being great.
I've been handling this Heat so much, and we're gonna do a little bit more.
You're just dabbing a little more on that.
I'm just ready. I'm gonna be at game 1 tomorrow night, Scotty. If it goes to game 5, it goes to 7. I'm gonna be there, guys. We will. Chris and Scott need to vote. Okay, so we'll vote too. I'll vote for ActionLab. Scotty.
So don't dab it on the chip anymore. Just dab it on your tongue if you can handle it that well.
Sorry guys, LOL. Jimmy Butler, he's going to need to play like his father. Oh, you mean Michael Jordan?
Yes.
You know, all the conspiracies.
Did you see that?
And to be fair, that might not be enough. And MJ is the greatest to ever do it. So Mackie only plays to give the Heat and edge is coaching. That's it. We talked about that earlier. That's the only one. And to me, that's a slight edge because I think Spoelstra is great, but I think Michael Malone's pretty damn good himself.
No.
So it's not a huge mismatch there, where I think the Eastern Conference Finals was a huge mismatch from the coaching variety.
Let's see. Vote Nuggets or ban. LOL. True.
Well, now you're banned.
Hey, look, the vote's tied.
Philosophy. No, it's not.
It's not.
Shut
Stop it.
up.
7-3. Keep voting, guys. All you guys voting. By the way, so no show tomorrow. We're gonna be live on Sunday night, I think, in the Action Lab. If Scott doesn't go, even if he does go, we might still have a stream watching the game live with you on playback.tv. So, either way, I think Scotty
You're
and
gonna
I
sacrifice one game to the stream. Are you gonna be okay on stream?
I don't know. It might be like Chiefs AFC Championship for you, like me.
Don't worry, Chris. I can carry.
It might be must see TV. I guarantee.
Yes, sir.
So
Chris acting a fool.
Jacked in a fool.
Sure. Mackie, even though we give each other shit, our sports takes line up pretty similarly, unless I'm trying to get under your skin. Haha. Outside of
Max
still
Jones.
waiting on that. I'm still waiting on that Houston Yao Ming title that you were talking to me years ago about at that bachelor party. Mackie.
And the fact that you're obsessed with Mac Jones.
He is obsessed with Mac Jones.
To be fair,
but
we
we align in this series.
You know I was biased.
Doesn't make it. I mean, you said what you said. You know, you said what you said, and you were convicted in it. So I had to call you out on it. Sorry, but you know I love you. You know I love you.
Like the same thing everyone would do when D Hop does not become a chief.
When which I'm ready for. But is everyone else ready for when he does become a chief? Because people
There's
are
new
gonna
reports.
lose his
There's
damn.
new reports that he wants to go. He wants to go back to Houston.
Yeah. Of course he does. Fuck no. Mackie, if you don't know, D-Hop's gonna be a chief. It's already done. It's done. It's not done, but if D-Hop had his choice of teams, regardless of money, I know with 100% certainty that he would choose the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll see what happens. Maybe money sways it a different direction, but if money's no object, and I think the Chiefs still can pay him, but the Chiefs are the destination. He's going to be a Chief. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry you all hate that, but it's just a reality.
I was a loyal Rockets fan when T-Mac played. By the way, one of my favorite NBA memories, speaking of T-Mac, scoring.
Are you good?
I'm handling the heat, baby.
Yeah. Handle it,
baby, because that's how we're going to do it. When T-Mac scored 13 points in a matter of what was it? 40 seconds or something stupid?
I remember that game you're talking about. Yeah. What about it?
It's one of my favorite moments ever.
Oh, that was great.
I think back of all my favorite NBA, if you say, what are your favorite must-see clips of the NBA and favorite moments, come back, whether it's dunks, whatever it may be, that T-Mac comeback was insane.
It was more impressive than the one I remember more. Outside of the one I remember more was in the playoffs. The Reggie Miller comeback by himself, basically, in the last few seconds of a playoff game. I think against the Knicks, if I'm not mistaken.
Did not.
Where he hit a three, stole the inbounds pass, hit another three, and whatever it may be after that. I don't remember the specifics, but he scored that comeback for me, Chris. For whatever reason, I wanted Pacers. I don't know why. Maybe I just hated the Knicks. But you remember, and maybe I've said this on stream before, but you remember Ace Ventura, right?
Yeah.
You remember how he did the whole Rust thing or whatever? Maybe I've said this on stream before, but I literally, as I was the youngest of three boys, in our family, I got up when Reggie Miller hit the big three, and I just started thrusting like Ace Ventura, not knowing what that even meant. I was probably 7 or 8 years old at the time, but what is this?
Well, I'm about to pull it up in a second. We've done this before. It's been a while. But
see, I don't remember. But anyway, I was thrusting, and my whole family stared at me like I lost my damn mind. Oh,
so this is that 3-point.
35 seconds to go.
Can we talk about how the game's 76-68 with seconds to go?
If you asked me, I figured this would be the end of the third quarter.
Right? A rather low-scoring game going to the fourth.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is insane. 24 seconds left.
Houston has to deny Devin Brown the ball. He's made 4 in a row now. Spurs will call a timeout to try to set something up, but it's now a one.
A lot of people this week have compared Jokic to Tim Duncan. Did you hear that?
Oh, Tim Duncan's one of the greatest to ever play.
Which makes sense in a lot of fashion. They both play the game slow, composed, they're smart, they make the right reads, they do everything mentally correct. So I think Jokic is a better shooter and a better passer. Tim Duncan's probably a better defender, certainly a better defender.
T-Mac.
No.
Cuts it to a 2-point lead. And timeout taken by San Antonio. And that was close.
No and one.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was going to say, they're not fouling there.
McGrady, timeout San Antonio. 11.2 to go in the fourth.
He's going to match their like prior quarter in the last like 30 seconds of this game.
Exactly.
T-Mac was
Yao
slept
Ming,
on.
there's your boy, Mac.
Barry gets it in. Devin Brown lost it. Here comes
6,
McGrady.
5.
Timeout remaining. McGrady for the
Now you call the foul 100 times out of 100 in today's game.
San Antonio with no turnout.
I mean, forget the low scoring game. What a damn finish, man.
Tracy McGrady with an
Did that guy hit it for San Antonio, by the way, after the buzzer sounded? I think he did. 'Cause apparently there was just a magnet in both hoops at the end of the game.
I mean, that was crazy. I mean, God.
If it wasn't a magnet, did you see how low the score was?
Wow. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
And then can we just do one more just for fun? Just I got to do this just for the Nuggets because honestly,
Adam Davis looking to help.
Hey, look,
Shot clock at 4.
the Conga Bowl.
Jokic has to put it up. Falling away, puts it up.
Welcome.
Caleb, thank you. I mean, look at this.
They're going to look at this to make sure. That looks like he's behind the
three.
line. Yep. They counted it as a 2.
That wasn't like ranked
tough
in ESPN's like top 5
that?
3-pointers made in the playoffs. Or
mean,
something.
he's
I'm like,
over-
what are we
Head
doing?
like that.
He made the
AD.
one in what, game 2?
All right.
Caleb,
Let's go. Thank you, Caleb,
Caleb.
for the sub. Let's go.
Let's
Hopefully
go.
you on the Nuggets train? Is that what's happening here?
Caleb, thank you so much. Welcome in. Really, Nick? I know. Sorry to bring back the bad memories, Nick. But I mean,
It's not too soon. It was a sweep, you know?
hey,
It's a
Caleb,
sweep.
appreciate you being here. Oh, hey, who's your team and where you're from? We'd like to get to know you. Also, join our Discord. We are trying to build our Discord, and also we're trying to get our socials up. So join our socials. We have everything here. If I could type socials. Let's see.
Happy for the 2 teams that are here that have made the finals. Entertainment for sure.
It'll be
Such a nice,
fantastic.
friendly take.
Yeah, who's your team, Caleb?
Nice take. I like that.
Good to have new folks in the Action Lab. But guys, we will be live Sunday nights. I mean, whether or not Scotty and I, if there's any changes, join our Discord and our Twitter so you know if we end up, shifting anything, if anything changes from our schedule. Let's say I happen to end up going to the game with Scotty. Who knows? There's things happen. But
I'm not inviting you. What?
just saying. So that's how you can know when we go live. But thank you for the support, Caleb. Appreciate you being here. If for all those people who are new joining us for the first time, my name is Chris. This is Scott. We're your host for the Action Lab, live every Wednesday and Sunday on Twitch. After that shot, AD, I screamed, trade AD right now. I mean,
I think AD's overrated, but that's not a play to be upset with him on. I don't know what else he could do there.
there's nothing you could do after that shot.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Nuggets are here. I got the Nuggets in 5. You got the Nuggets in 5, Scotty. That's our finals prediction. That's what we're
4.5. I'm like a 4.5.
4.5.
I don't think that's possible.
Rec, who do you like? I know you're not a big basketball guy, and I know you're not a fan of either of these teams, but what
You know what the 2 teams playing. 'cause
Given-
you've been on the stream.
everything we've talked about over the course of the playoffs, Scott, Rec, you've been here all the way through as our dedicated mod. Have we convinced you, as a fan that doesn't really follow the Nuggets or the NBA, have we convinced you that the Nuggets are the better team? If we haven't, then we have not done a service to the people out there in the world.
Oh yeah, you've done a good enough job of saying the Nuggets are good, and I'm sure they're gonna win. I'm sure they're gonna win the finals, probably in like 6.
Good answer. Now you're not banned.
Outside of Chris is going to be big mad if it's in 6. Chris wants 5 or 7.
I want to be there as a fan of this team. I want to be there. If it's in 6, actually, our Uncle John, not our uncle specifically, but Junkle John has mentioned.
Junkle
I heard that too.
It's the hot sauce and the alcohol. Has mentioned he wants to go to Miami if it's Game 6 potentially. Not sold on it yet. It's a lot. I got to convince the wifey, but probably not going to happen.
I'm gonna guess the under on you guys going to Miami for Game 6.
I'll guess the under as well. I'm hoping for a 4-0 Heat sweep, says Swift. Then you better bet the hell out of it because you get some bank. You cash in. What's that? By the way, I got it.
The Heat in 4-0 is like, I don't know. I think you bet $1, you win $1 million. That's what
It's gotta be insane.
Let's see. Here we go. Correct score. Heat in 4 is plus 5,000. So hey, go make some money there. Go make some money, Swift. You cash in.
If you bet 10, you get $500.
It's true. Go bet it. I think
I'm surprised it's only 5,000.
Devil Doc. I think Miami's 3 steal a game, but Nuggets in 5 or 6. Fair enough. Ban Swift. That ain't happening. Says Swift. But all right, guys. Well, that I think is gonna put a wrap on this episode of
Young
the
Spacey.
ActionLab.
Heat in 4. Bet it.
Spacey.
I think the series might go 4, but not in the Heat direction.
Plus 5,000. Spacey. You and Swift, we're gonna be rich people. Just bet $100, $200 on the Heat in 4, and you'll be golden. Spacey, who's your team and where are you from? Who's your team and where are you
Miami,
from?
possibly.
Are you from Miami, Spacey? Welcome in. By the way. I know. No way I'm betting that.
Especially because it will end tomorrow.
He's from Miami.
Your Heat in 4 will end tomorrow. The Nuggets are winning Game 1.
Space.
Right? We all know this.
It's good to have you in, my man. Hey, I hope you join us throughout the course of this NBA Finals, and can't wait to get to know you a little bit more on all your other teams as well. But join our Discord again, just like everyone else has been doing, which is great. Thank you, and it's good to have you in. Appreciate that. But that is going to put
Swift likes Murray, which I love Murray. Chris hates Murray as a Nuggets fan. He just hates him so much.
Bruh.
Me, I've always been on the Murray train. Always.
Murray plus 250 to lead the finals in scoring. That's actually not a bad sprinkle.
You can do, I don't know for sure who it's through. You can do a two team parlay with the Nuggets winning the series and Murray making the most 3-point shots in the series at plus 105.
What's MPJ's most 3-point shots? I think he's gonna feast.
That's the one. That's the one I actually want to bet on. I don't know that one. I think MPJ is the only threat to Murray. I don't think it's a Heat player. I think MPJ is the threat and a legit threat because there's no one on the Heat.
Michael Porter Jr. most threes made is plus 240. Oh, yeah. And Murray's minus 145. I'll take the upside of Porter plus 240. Also, there was one other thing that I wanted to look at when it came to the betting aspect of this. It was, where was it? Oh, triple double.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Martin might creep up. I know Martin had the series of his life, but he also averaged like over 10 points less than Murray in that series than Murray did in the Western Conference Finals. So I love what Martin did. Martin was phenomenal in that Eastern Conference Finals, but like, I know it's for most threes, but Caleb Martin was a 35% shooter from 3 this year on like not a lot of attempts. He's not a great 3-point shooter.
Real quick, Nikola Jokic just recorded triple doubles minus 105. You're getting minus 105. That's how good he is. Just saying.
No one in the history of the sport since like Wilt Chamberlain has been minus on averaging a triple double.
in the finals.
And not even Wilt.
Stop it.
I don't even know who I'm saying. Like,
Stop
it's
it.
stupid. It's stupid.
Uh,
No one's been minus money in a finals on averaging a triple double. No one in the history of the game.
stop.
No one.
Stop it. Young Spacey, Jaws better shooter than Curry. All right. Okay. Hot takes in the chat. Spam them. Hot take.
Wait, what do you mean by shooter? Are we talking about in basketball?
In bat.
Bang,
Talking about
Scotty.
basketball?
Bruh.
Oh, it's. I mean.
Yeah, I assume they're not talking about basketball.
Damn. I didn't even see that angle until you got him.
I mean,
And
right? Like not in basketball, but off the court?
Off the court. Hey.
Probably.
Hey, true.
Probably.
True.
I would guess Steph's never handled a gun in his life. And you know, Jaws pretty familiar, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah. Got you there. Gotcha. Got him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it. Guys, hit that follow button if you have not already. We are Chris and Scott from the Action Lab, your premier sports entertainment talk show on the internet. We do this live, like I said, over and over every Wednesday and Sunday. And we don't stop. We've been doing this for the last 2.5 years strong, and we, can't get enough talking sports, right?